Hi everyone, it's Deja. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me today. Today we are going to make some fun, crafty, and messy projects. For our first project, we are going to put a vinyl design on this glass candle jar from Dollar Tree. You can put a real small candle inside or a battery-operated tea light like I have here. I always check my blanks to make sure that I don't place my vinyl on top of any seams. This candle jar has seams on two sides, so I will place my design in the center where it is smooth. I thought it would be cute to have a silhouette design of the nativity scene with a little light glowing behind it. Nothing too fancy, but just something to remind me of the reason for this wonderful season. I'll be using HTVRont transfer tape to transfer the design over to the glass jar. Before I forget, I want to say thank you to all of you who have subscribed to my channel or liked my videos. It means the world to me. You know, YouTube is filled with so many wonderful crafters and content creators already that it really is a challenge to stand out. But despite all of that, I am so happy to be here and to share what I love to do. I hope that this is something that I can continue to do in the long run. So, thank you so much for supporting my little channel, and I hope that I can continue to bring ideas to this channel to inspire and entertain all of you. With time and a little savings, my goal is to upgrade my filming and sound equipment in the future to make my videos even better. I like to always clean my blank surface area before putting the vinyl design on top. Here I am using my rubbing alcohol spray and a piece of paper towel to clean the surface. After that, I will slowly and carefully align the design where I want it to go. You can use your fingers to burnish the design or a scraper tool to push out any air bubbles so that the design lays down nicely. Remove the transfer tape carefully and we're all done with this first project. Turn the tea light on and drop it down into the candle jar. This is so simple, but it looks so cute in a dark room and you can really see the design pop out. Next, I found this pack of 12 unfinished wood ornaments from Michaels last year. These were already painted white, so I didn't need to do anything to it. Just like the last project, I'm going to put a vinyl design on here. I thought these would be cute gifts for some of the women at church, specifically for a women's Bible study group. Eventually, I'll put a few goodie bags together and this will go inside that goodie bag. Our ministry is called Abide, and I just loved this design. I found this image in Cricut Design Space and I did modify it a little bit. I believe I contoured out some additional pieces and added the Bible verse on the bottom. As always, I'll add all of the details of the images, tools, and supplies used in today's projects in the description section of this video. I am using the same transfer tape from the last project. For this project, I will not be using rubbing alcohol to clean the ornaments first because this is wood and the paint doesn't have a sealant on top. Rubbing alcohol can ruin the paint finish on the wood or make the wood wet, which makes it hard for the adhesive vinyl to stick onto it. Sometimes the vinyl might not want to stick down, so you'll need to use more pressure to burnish it down. Or you can also gently pull away the transfer tape and press down the vinyl at the same time. This technique does take a little longer, but it will ensure that the vinyl stays put. I don't know about you, but I am still on the hunt for some good transfer tape. I have used transfer tape from Cricut, Expressions Vinyl, HTVRont, Teckwrap, and even Dollar Tree. And somehow they all have pros and cons. But let me know in the comments section if you have a favorite transfer tape so that I can also try it out. And here's the final look. I'm only going to show myself completing one of these, but I'll finish the rest off camera. For our third project, I found this picture frame at Dollar Tree and had this idea in mind to create something along the black metal frame. It stands like this and just had an overall nice look to it. I was inspired to create Christmas lights around the frame. I decided to use Cricut Felt for this project, and I used this yellow, red, and green felt. I used the deep point blade and had my cut settings set on felt stiff. I did modify the force settings to 350. My Cricut Maker 3 cut the felt images twice and it came out perfectly. I cut out the stars with the yellow felt, and for the Christmas lights I cut it out with the red and green felt. I used my cordless hot glue gun and some black yarn I had in my Crafty space. For the yarn, I cut off about 23 inches And honestly, I didn't really have a plan in mind on how I was going to execute this whole idea. I pretty much just winged it. I started off by gluing the yarn on the frame first and created some loops for a whimsical look. After that, I glued the red and green light bulbs to the yellow sockets, and honestly, I'm not even sure if I'm calling these pieces correctly, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. When that was all done, I glued the stars and lights randomly onto the black string and frame. Okay, so because the picture frame is not well balanced when you lay it down, I had to use my cordless hot glue gun case to hold up the top of the frame so that I could easily glue the stars and lights on. The imbalance of the height was totally driving me nuts. I just glued everything on randomly but made sure that it still looked nice. After that, I went back to retouch any of the areas that needed extra glue to stay put. This is the final look. I'll put a picture of my family inside this frame and set it near our Christmas tree. Next, I found this Tic Tac Toe board game at Dollar Tree last year and it was $3. It was labeled as Wood Christmas Crafts. My two older kids love to play Tic Tac Toe, so I thought it would be fun to create this for them. You might be able to find something similar to this at Dollar Tree. I did buy this last year, so some of these things might not be in stock anymore. I've been trying to shop my craft room more frequently, so I'm sorry if you can't find this item. I thought this would be the perfect idea to use my Christmas cardstock with it. I got this pack of cardstock from Michael's last year when it was on clearance, and I love all of the patterns in this pack. I decided to go with this plaid design and the snowflakes design. I took one of the stockings and traced it on the back side of the cardstock paper. When I did this, I also flipped the stockings. It doesn't really matter how you do this, but if you want your stockings and hats to face a certain direction, then just trace it the way you want it to look. I will trace the stockings on the plaid cardstock 5 times and the hat on the snowflakes cardstock 5 times. So you should end up with 10 cutouts, 5 of each. After that, take a pair of scissors and cut them out individually. You can use Mod Podge or your preference of glue. I also used a medium flat brush and a paint tray to make this process easier. I painted the glue on the wood and then placed the cardstock on top. I firmly pressed it down and also used a small rolling tool to press the cardstock down to get rid of air bubbles. It's okay if the cardstock is sticking out more than the wood. We will file the edges later so that it looks flush. Now that I have glued all of the cardstock on and it is dry, I will use a small nail filer to file the edges. When you're doing this technique, be sure to move in one direction only. For example, I will only be filing it while pushing my hand down. If you go back and forth filing the edges while you're going up and down, you can accidentally lift up the cardstock paper and rip it. I suggest going slowly at first, using firm pressure as you file it. After a few times, the paper will detach and you'll have a smooth edge. The paper should look flush with the edges on the wood. Now let's compare a nicely filed piece to one that is not filed yet. The filed one looks so much better. You can add Mod Podge to seal the cardstock at the end if you want to preserve the longevity of the game pieces, but that is entirely up to you. Our next project is this wood Christmas tree that I got from Hobby Lobby this year. I got this for half off the price tag, so it's very, very affordable. The back and front are different from each other, so keep that in mind if you wanted to use the back side for a different project. The idea I had for this is similar to our last project. I wanted to use patterned cardstock paper to dress it up. Instead of using Christmas themed cardstock, I'll be using this boho pack that I got from Amazon. It's called Wayline or Wayline, I think it's Wayline. Anyway, it's called Wayline 24-piece boho pattern paper. It comes with 12 designs and it is double-sided. It's the same design on both sides, which is really nice. I wanted to say that I think this paper weight is 65 pounds. So anyway, my plan was to choose 3 designs and cut them into strips and glue them onto the tree. I love boho colors and designs, and it was actually kind of difficult to choose, but in the end, I chose these 3 designs, which are just way too cute. I measured the height of the wood slat and then cut 3 strips of each design, and they were all about 1 inch in height. Let me be really honest, my math was not mathin' when I was trying to cut these out, and frankly, I don't really want to spend too much time talking about how I miscalculated how big to cut them, but in the end I settled for 1 inch. You will see a little bit of wood exposed in some areas, but just know that I told you my math was not mathin'. I also didn't need all 3 strips of each paper. After cutting the strips, I just placed them in a pattern that looked nice to me and then continued the same pattern throughout the whole tree. I cut off the edges here and there to get it out of my way and reused those extras on the smaller wood slats above. When I finished gluing all of the cardstock paper on, I cut off the edges as close to the wood as I could. Then I went in with my nail filer and filed the edges just like my previous project with the Tic Tac Toe wood project. And here we have it, a boho Christmas tree. Alright, moving on to our last project. I got this pack of 3 Christmas trees from Hobby Lobby this year as well, and it's called Wood Tree. I got it for half off this price tag. When I saw this on the shelf in the store, all I wanted to do was put glitter on them. So yes, I saved this project for last because I knew it was going to get very, very messy. I didn't measure these trees, but I want to say that they're about 5 to 6 inches in height. 2 of them are identical and the third one has a different design. I don't have a lot of glitter, so for now I keep them on this little round tray. I'm in the middle of redoing my crafty space and my stuff are all kind of all over the place, so eventually I'll find a permanent home for my glitter. I'll be using the same Mod Podge from the previous 2 projects and this glitter / embossing tray. My goal here was to work in small sections at a time. I started off with putting Mod Podge on the top of the tree and then pour fine glitter over it. I didn't have any plans for what colors or color combinations to use. Sometimes you just pick and choose as you go. This was definitely one of those projects where you just let the creativity kick in. I was also limited in colors too, since I have such a small glitter collection. I mostly had a variety of pink and purple glitter. For this project, I preferred to use fine glitter, but you can also use chunky glitter. This Mod Podge dries up quickly, so that's why you've been seeing me do small sections at a time. As I pour the glitter on, I'm also rotating the tree so that the glitter is evenly coated on all sides. If the glitter isn't sticking on, go back with a brush and put more glue on those sections and pour glitter over it again. I honestly do not like this tray at all. It made the glitter cleaning process even slower and messier, so I went back to the old school way of just using a plain sheet of printer paper to collect the glitter and pour it back into the container. Sometimes it's just best to stick with the good old techniques. I waited for the top of the trees to dry first and then moved on to the base. I repeated the same steps for all of the trees. I finally finished and need to clean up all this glitter. I was gifted this desktop vacuum cleaner last year and can finally use it. I was a little skeptical at first, but man was I wrong. This thing worked like a champ. I don't know where it was purchased from, but I think you can find something similar to this on Amazon. Personally, I would have picked a different color design, but this bright red works for now. Alright, here are all of the projects that I completed today. I'm so glad you were able to join me, and I hope this inspired you to recreate something similar. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope that you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I can't wait to see you all again. Thank you so much. Bye!